Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we meet again and we still talking about how to write a research proposal. Ladies and gentlemen, once you are in college and really getting into academic writing, you may not recognize all the kinds of assignments you are asked to complete. You know what an essay is and you know how to respond to readings. But when you hear your professor or your tutor mention a research proposal or a literature review, your mind might do a double take. Don't worry, we've got you. Well, down to its core, a research proposal is simply a short piece of writing that details exactly what you will be covering in a larger research project. You'll likely be required to write one for your thesis. And if you choose to continue in academia after earning your bachelor degree, you'll be writing research proposal for your master thesis and so on. But then you'll be a research proposal pro. But for now, we'll talk about how to write a research proposal. Okay, at the first, we would like to talk about what is the goal of a research proposal. In a research proposal, the goal is to present the author's plan for the research they intend to conduct. In some cases, part of this goal is to secure funding for said research. In others, it's to have the research approved by the author supervisor or department so they can move forward with it. In some cases, a research proposal is a required part of a graduate school application. In every one of these circumstances, research proposals follow the same structure. In a research proposal, the author demonstrates how and why the research is relevant to their field. They demonstrate that the work is necessary to the following. First, filling a gap in the existing body of a research on their subject. Second, underscoring existing research on their subject. And third, adding new original knowledge to the academic community's existing understanding of the subject. A research proposal also demonstrates that the author is capable of conducting this research and contributing to the current state of the field in a meaningful way. To do this, your research proposal needs to discuss your academic background and credentials as well as demonstrate that your proposed ideas have academic merit. But demonstrating your research validity and your personal capability to carry it out isn't enough to get your research proposal approved. Your research proposal also has to cover these three things. First, the research methodology you plan to use. Second, the tools and procedures you will use to collect, analyze, and interpret the data you collect. Third, an explanation of how your research fits the budget and other constraints that come with conducting it through your institution, department, or academic program. If you have already read the previous information, you may be thinking that a research proposal sounds pretty similar. They're most just and similar, though the literature review is a part of a research proposal. It's the section that covers which sources you are using, how you are using them, and why they are relevant. Think of a literature review as a mini research proposal that fits into your larger main proposal. Now we come to the next subtitle. How long should a research proposal be? Generally, research proposals for bachelor's and master's theses are few pages long. Research proposals for mid-tier projects like PhD dissertations and funding requests are often longer and far more detailed. A research proposal's goal is to clearly outline exactly what your research will entail and accomplish. So including the proposal word count or page count isn't nearly as important as it is to ensure that all the necessary elements and contents are present. Now we continue to research proposal structure. A research proposal follows a fairly straightforward structure in order to achieve the goals described in the previous section. Nearly all research proposals include the following section. First, introduction. Second, background significance. Third, literature review. Fourth, research design, method and schedule. Fifth, supposition and implication. Sixth, conclusion. Seven, bibliography. Yep, that's there are seven seven sections. First, we discuss the first session, introduction. Your introductions achieves a few goals. They are introducing your topic and stating your problem statement and the questions your research aims to answer, and providing context for your research. In a research proposal, an introduction can be a few paragraphs long. It should be concise, but don't feel like you need to cram all of your information into one paragraph. In some cases, you need to include an abstract or a table of contents in your research proposal. These are included just before the introduction. Now, the second section is background significance. Background significance is where you explain why your research is necessary and how it relates to established research in your field. Your work might complement existing research, strengthen it, or even challenge it. No matter how your work will play with other researchers' work, you need to express it in detail in your research proposal. This is also the section where you clearly define the existing problems your research will address. By doing this, you're explaining why your work is necessary. In other words, this is where you answer the reader, so what? In your background significance section, you will also outline how you will conduct your research. If necessary, note which related questions, issues you want to be covering in your research. The third section in research proposal is literature review. In your literature review, you introduce all the sources you plan to use in your research. This includes landmark studies and their data, books, and scholarly articles. A literature review isn't merely a list of sources. That's what your bibliography is for. A literature review delves into the collection of sources you choose and explains how you are using them in research. The fourth section in research proposals is research design, methods, and schedule. In this section, make sure you cover this aspect. First, the type of research you will do. Are you conducting qualitative or quantitative research? Are you collecting original data or working with data collected by other researchers? Second, whether you're doing experimental, correlational, or descriptive research. Third, the data you're working with. For example, if you're conducting research in the social science, you'll need to describe the population you are studying. You'll also need to cover how you'll select your subjects and how you'll collect data from them. Fourth, the tools you'll use to collect data. Will you be running experiments, conducting surveys, observing phenomena? Note all data collection methods here along with why they are effective method for your specific research. Beyond a comprehensive look at your research itself, you'll also need to include a research timeline, a research budget, and any potential obstacles you foresee and you plan for handling them. The fifth section is supposition and implications. Although you can't know your research results until you've actually done the work, you should be going into the project with a clear idea of how your work will contribute to your field. This section is perhaps the most critical to your research proposal argument because it expresses exactly why your research is necessary. In this section of suppositions and implications, make sure you cover the following things. First, any ways you work can challenge existing theories and assumptions in your field. Second, how your work will create the foundation for the future research. Third, the practical value your findings will provide to practitioners, educators, and other academics in your field. Fourth, the problems your work can potentially help to fix. Fifth, policies that could be impacted by your findings. And sixth, how your findings can be implemented in academia or other settings and how this will improve or otherwise transform these settings. In other words, the sections of suppositions and implications is not about stating the specific results you expect. Rather, it's where you state how your findings will be valuable. The next section is conclusion. This is really necessary. You need to write a bibliography in addition to your literature review. Unlike your literature review, where you explain the relevance of the sources you choose and, in some cases, challenge them, your bibliography simply lists your sources and their authors. Sometimes a full bibliography or references is not needed. When this is the case, you can include a reference list, which is simply a scaled down list of all the sources you cited in your work. If you're not sure which to write, ask your supervisor or teacher. Now, we would like to continue our talk about how to write a research proposal, and we will talk about it in the next related video. That's all for this occasion. Thank you very much for listening, and see you soon in the next related video, still talking about how to write a research proposal.